This is about the Travel Lite Atom camper. First off, if you go look at one of these, you're going to have to ask a lot of questions. Most importantly, you need to take your cell phone and record everything they tell you. These are already out on the dealer lots, and details about construction are a little sketchy, and there's nothing about R value. If you're going to be paying $30,000 for an Atom, I would think you'd want to know everything there is to know about how it's made and insulated. Let's begin with the payload. They advertise in 900 pounds without options. The dealer posted this on his Atom. Standard features, 1,280 pounds. So that's almost 1,300 pounds. Now, you add a second person, you fill up the water tank, you add your gear, clothes, food, you're already at or over 1,500 pounds. And that's the payload of most mid-sized trucks. And you should never load a truck up to its maximum. You need to allow some leeway in there. One reason is handling. Another is when you're going around curves or uphill, downhill, that's going to shift your load. So instead of being equally on 4 wheels, you're shifting it over on 2 wheels. That's why you need to actually leave yourself some leeway. And this camper with the air conditioner is 8 feet 2 inches, I believe, or 8 feet 4 inches. So you're going to be shifting weight over on 2 wheels, like in a curve. That's why you need some leeway in that. And there's a huge difference between 1,500 pounds down in your bed and 1,500 pounds standing 8 foot up in your bed. And then there's the engines they have. This is a huge air catcher. That's another view of it. And as you can see, it's not very wedge shaped. I think that's going to be a problem with these mid-sized trucks and the smaller engines that they have. Then there's the construction. Now they had mentioned Jasper Plastics, and that's where they get some of their product from. They have a website. You should check it out and read what they make. They don't mention Hydrolite walls. They mention Asdale in the construction. I believe Lesnar said in an interview, they have Hydrolite sidewalls. It's foam laminated between Asdale and fiberglass. Asdale has a website. You should go there and check that out. You need to fact check me, fact check anything the salesman tells you. But those are the measurements that Asdale makes that are used in the RV industry. Millimeters, 2.7 millimeters up to 4.7 millimeters. That's what Asdale is. I couldn't go down to 2.7, but this is 3 millimeters thick and 5 millimeters thick. So those are the thicknesses of Asdale. They also show a typical RV wall. You got your outside fiberglass panel or FRP, which is fiberglass reinforced, a sheet of Asdale, your frame. They said some RV manufacturers put a second sheet in there, and then your interior decor. So according to Lesnar, the foam is insulated between the fiberglass. Foam insulation is laminated between the fiberglass and your Asdale. Between these two. So that brings into question, how thick is an atom wall? Most RV walls are 2 inches. So if this framing is 1 inch, and if this outside panel is 1/4 of an inch, and this one is 3 millimeters, which is almost 1/4 of an inch, that's a 1/2 inch there. 1/4 and 1/4 is 1/2. This is 1 inch, that's 1.5 inches, and then you still have your interior wall. That only leaves a 1/2 inch for foam insulation. He didn't say anything about foam being in the frame, it was just between here. A word about aluminum framing. It is lighter and it doesn't rot. But if they don't get these welds right, the flexing can cause them to break. You can get condensation on aluminum if the temperature drops from warm to cold. And it's a good conductor of temperature. Whatever your outside wall temp is, that's going to get conducted into your inside wall. Now, if they have foam in between here, you might think that's going to stop it, but foam does not stop heat or cold. That's something else you need to do, is research foam insulation, the different types, R values, and what it can and can't do, how it works. So, this is why you need to ask a lot of specific questions about this. Because Lesnar also said that while these sidewalls are Hydrolite, that composite is not used in the cab over or the roof. All he said about the roof was that it's aluminum frame and TPO membrane. So what the heck is up here? Is that it? Did they just put a cheap sheet of plastic up there from Jasper Plastics? But you can't walk on it. If you get up there and step on it, you're going to go through it. I mean, what's up there? He didn't say, and the interviewer didn't ask about this or even an R value. Even though it's supposed to be one of those professional RV websites, he puts on his website that it's a trusted truck camper news source. But he didn't even ask about R value. I made the mistake of buying a razor from Travel Lite. This is another reason why you have to ask questions. Because on my razor they advertise foam insulated walls. Well, yes and no. The razor doesn't have a cab over, but the front wall was not foam insulation. I found that out because the inside wall was a lot hotter than the side wall. Neither wall was facing the sun, so they should have been the same temperature on the inside. Then I find out where the propane cabinet is. There's no insulation behind it. The wall right here next to it was just as hot as it was outside. No insulation in the knee walls, or this part from the upper wall over to the knee walls. Found that out when I was checking out the battery box and I was trying to straighten out the mess of wires they had there in the where they drilled a hole for the battery box vent right here. I could clearly see that there was no insulation in this wall. The back door, there's no insulation around the back door in my razor. Found that out when cold weather came around. There was lots of condensation on the walls around the door. Even the header above the door was soaking wet, so I took it off. I took the strips off by the back door, and that's when I found out there's a huge gap around the door with no insulation. So the salesman said, well, oh, you've got foam insulated walls. Well, how much foam? What's the R value? What's in the roof? Are the knee walls of this atom insulated? What's in the front cap? That's why you have to ask a lot of questions, and that's why you have to record it on video. Because if you're going to pay $30,000 for a camper, you'd want to know what you're getting for that $30,000. And if down the road you find out they lied, if you don't have it on video, it's he said, she said. and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. So, let's see if I load capacity, air catcher. Oh, RV reviews. When you search an RV, this one, some other RV, whatever, you don't want to put reviews in the search box. You'll just get a bunch of these, I think, BS sites, because everything seems to be peachy keen, and there's a lot of crap being built out there right now. It started after the recession. It got a whole lot worse with the pandemic and supply issues. But you read a lot of these RVs reviews, and they don't find anything wrong or just very minor details, and that's impossible with the amount of crap out there. So what you want to search is, like this one, I suggest waiting a year and let some other poor soul buy them, and then you can read about the problems. But you would search travel, lite, Atom 400, but instead of reviews, put problems or issues or complaints, or do all searches with each one of those. That way you'll get links to web posts or Facebook, YouTube videos where people are complaining about it, or they're telling you their problems about it. That's how you find out about a camper. Not doing reviews, because I think you'll just get a lot of BS. And I guess last about this is one more poke at travel light. Ryan Rebar. He's the COO of Travel Light. He's in a YouTube video. You want some interesting reading? Search Ryan Rebar, Goshen, Indiana arrest. I'm not going to tell you here. You need to look it up yourself and have it firsthand. Just like everything I told you, you need to look it up, do some fact checking. Go to Jasper's website, Asdel's website, research foam insulation. Learn about that. And I guess I've covered everything. I'll get down off my soapbox. But I still say, when it comes to travel light products, buyer beware.